So now let's see how to represent a data set. A data set typically is written with a capital D. This is one way of representing a data set. There are multiple ways. We learned two of the most used ones. A data set is basically a collection of data points and its correspond. So let me explain what each of these. First, let me write down what it is. Right. For example, um, I'll just take our iris data set, setosa, versicolor, or virginica. So let me explain what this means. This means that our data set contains n data points, right? So because I'm writing I equals to 1 to n, I have xi and yi. So for every xi, I have a corresponding yi, and I have n such data points, right? This n represents the number of data points in my data set. Now here, the moment I say xi belong to Rd, what do I know? That xi is a d-dimensional vector of real values. So in the case of iris dataset, we had four features, right? So xi belongs to R4, right? Which means for every data point, for every flower for which we have taken observations, we have four real values, right? Sorry, we have four real values. We have the corresponding sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. As I mentioned to you, if you're not informed what it is, this basically means a column vector by default, right? And for every column vector with four fields, you have a corresponding yi. And this yi could be either setosa, versicolor, or virginica, right? So if somebody writes this, you can quickly, of course, there are other types of yi's. Yi could be 0 or 1. Yi could itself belong to real value. We'll see different machine learning tasks for which there will be different yi's. But typically, and not all the values may be real valued, right? Here we're always writing everything as a real valued vector. The iris data set, everything is a real value because your sepal length, sepal width, petal width are all real values. We'll see more variations of data sets. This is how we represent it. So whenever I write like this, what it means, just to quickly reiterate, is that my data set D is a collection of data points xi and class labels yi. So xi's are my data points and yi's are my class labels. Okay, and I have n such data points and class labels, right? So where each data point belongs to Rd. In the case of iris, it's R4, which means it's a four-dimensional vector, again column vector, which consists of sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. And yi now belongs to one of the three types of flowers. We have either setosa, versicolor, or virginica. This is one way of representing a data set. There are other ways. We'll see one other very useful way of representing a data set, but this is one way of representing it.